Alright, so this is the fourth part, maybe the last part. I didn't want it to be such a, you know, dragged out thing. Each part seems to be a half hour, so it's like 2 hours of videos, I guess. Um, so the first thing I see when I see this is that the nostrils don't come out as wide as they could. Um, it looks like this part could come in more, possibly. Um, and these gaps right here probably will want to be filled in um, down here so that you can actually sculpt. Um, so there's no holes that you could, and then you would remesh it, I guess. Um, so um, maybe I go ahead and do that real quick. Although the remeshing part sometimes doesn't go the way I want it to. Let's find out. Add sphere. Um, so we could copy that one. Probably copy it for down here as well. And again, it's just really to kind of fill in those holes. They don't represent anything anatomical. Copy. So that we can have a mesh that we can work with. That almost fills in that hole, doesn't it? Probably could get it to, let's see. Maybe we just go ahead and copy anyway. Copy. Move this up. Probably elongate it a little bit. Okay. Copy that. And we could see if we could remesh it. Hopefully that this doesn't give us any real problems. So that looks pretty good. I don't think we need to remesh it that high. Let's see what happens. That nose is kind of thin. That nostril's kind of thin. So that's what I was concerned about, is that on the remesh that we lose a little bit of that. We'll see. Then we could smooth out those areas and we could start kind of seeing what we could do to make it into a regular. It looks like the nose is okay. Let's go to the smooth tool. Let's see. So it seems to have worked out pretty well. Now we have a single mesh with no holes, so we should be able to go in and do whatever we want without any real complications. All right. I guess I should have moved that when I said something about it being a little too full in front of the ear. I should have moved that before I remeshed, but that's okay. Let's take the grab tool and see if we can, or the move tool, and see if we could kind of correct a few things that way. Nothing serious. Let's do the draw tool, the brush. We don't want it on negative. And maybe, or no, wait, what do we want to do? Let's try the move tool for the nose to bring this structure in just a little bit so that those nostrils can come out a little bit more. Yeah, I mean, I kind of liked it better before, but we could pull the nostrils out. All right. Probably make this a little bit less severe by bringing that out a little bit more, bringing this in a little bit more. And this really does happen. This is more narrow, and then the bone structure, the base of the nose comes out wider like that. So we could bring in this part of the nose to be a little more narrow. So that's a little bit better, but that connection between the upper lip and the nose, we could flesh that out a little bit more. Take the brush tool and see if we could do this with the brush tool. Doesn't seem like that's going to be easy to do. Should be though. Maybe if we think about those two columns that come into the lip. Yeah, I'm not wanting to do anything to that lip. I guess I could mask it off if I wanted to. Maybe the intensity is too high. Just wanted to bring this profile here closer to the center of the nostril. And maybe negative, so we could get that valley. I can't remember the name of it. It seems like I should know the name of it. All my students used to know the name of that at the in anatomy class. Yeah, I still don't know the name. All right. Smooth that out, but not so high. It's not great, but it's a little bit better. This could be smoothed out a little bit. Smooth that out inside. At the nostril spin, I could probably take the draw tool, the brush tool, maybe thicken it up that way from the inside. And we could go to the negative and we could kind of shape that nostril a little bit more. Let's see. Alright, so maybe that's not great. We're not shooting for great, or just trying to go for reasonable. I could, yeah. Okay. Smooth is too high. It's too high. Alright, so whatever. Looks like the mesh is not agreeing with me. That's fine. We have something a little bit more like what we want. Now for the mouth, let's see if we could do something with the crease. Okay. What you could do, well, I don't like that a whole lot. Almost like it better that way. So let's go negative crease. Intensity's up a little bit too much. Let's go. And usually, actually, this is how you get the definition of the lower lip. Something like that. Probably we could bring these up a little bit more. And we could go back to the brush, fill that in. Right there. We could go to pinch. So we could bring that together. Well, that didn't work the way I wanted it to. Let's see. Smooth, maybe fill this in a little bit more. And also on the outside of the mouth, take the brush, positive. There's something called a node. And that's the corner of the mouth. That's where a lot of muscles attach to the corner of your mouth. It's a floating structure because, you know, you have to have muscles that move your mouth, make you smile and frown. And so there's this floating structure on the outside corner of your mouth there. And so without it, just the two lips together makes it look like a duck bill, right? So you got to have this floating structure form. And then you have muscles that attach from the cheekbone to that form, so we could fill that in just a little bit. I'm not going to go too far. I just want it to start to look like something you could work with. Maybe the final video, I take this existing thing and make it look like a person, a celebrity or something like that. So for the ears, negative. So I get this part in, first, and then this part in deeper, and then go to the positive version of it. You could bring the earlobe down a little bit more. Bring this out. Bring this out. Smooth. And try the move tool a little bit. Back the ear. This shouldn't have come out as back as I had it. Looks like a tumor. Bring that earlobe. Push this in a little bit. Push this up a little bit. And go back to the brush tool, negative, so we could kind of basically push in that skull like I had originally wanted to. See what we could do about the flatten tool. Okay, go back to smooth. And this is all rough. I'm sorry, it's not, Okay, probably smooth this out a little bit more. All right, so probably get away with bringing those ears down a little bit more. Even though I lined those up, for some reason it just doesn't. Giving some shape to the ears here. Something like that. All right, so next, the eyelids. Yeah, those, I think for the bottom, first thing to do is just smooth out. So that we don't have to go crazy with adding eyelids, There's a couple ways you could go. You can draw the eyelids on there with the brush tool. So we can try that. It's kind of an S curve. Comes out. there's that, which doesn't look too bad. Or you could go to the negative tool and you could act like the eyelids are already part of the spherical form, and you could make a recessed area that represents the eye itself. And that's kind of nice because you're not adding more to have the eyes stick out. And plus the eyes are more of a shadow area anyway, because the eyelids, the upper eyelid sticks out, collects all the light, and as a result the eyes look like they're more shadowy. Plus the whites of the eyes are not as white as you think they are. If you put on white makeup on your face, the eyes look dark and creepy, quite frankly. So to have that shadow in there is not a bad idea. And usually though, what we could do is, this is a very thin face, so but we could get away with probably fleshing out underneath the eyelid there. Take the intensity down. So say this is the eyelid, there's still kind of a fleshiness between the eyelid and the bone. So you could get away with bringing that out a little bit. I would say bring this out a little bit. You think about those muscles that go from that part of the cheekbone to the mouth area. So you could just kind of flesh that out a little bit. The chin, we could build on top of that. There's muscles over there in the chin. A mentalis is a muscle that goes on the mental protuberance. So, such as it is, it's a structured head. And maybe I could try turning it into somebody for the next video. So the eyes, you want basically the width of the skull is 5 eye segments. So it looks like these could be, the corners could come out just a little bit more like that. And probably this forehead could come in a little bit. Okay, does that help? Let's see if we could get curvature on that to get some definition.